Welcome to All Things Retreat podcast. I'm Holly Porter, your host and CEO of Retreat R&R. With over 25 years of experience in designing transformative retreats, I'm here to share insights and inspiration to help you create extraordinary experiences. Whether you're a pro or just starting out, you'll find valuable ideas here. Enjoy the ride. Let's dive in. Hi, and welcome everybody to the show today. We have a guest, and her name is Ral West. She's a visionary business leader and systemization expert who employs her 4 decades of entrepreneurial experience and her passion for business in her newest endeavor, Ral West Living the Dream. In her Boss Mastermind program, Ral transforms overwhelmed or overworked, probably overwhelmed too, owners, operators, and powerful business owners with the freedom to stop sacrificing their personal lives. Ral West and her husband have founded several businesses, one notably acquired by Alaska Airlines in 2008. She is a respected figure in the tourism industry and multifamily real estate circles. Ral's been a guest on dozens of podcasts, and she's also a best-selling author and a dynamic speaker, addressing audiences both in person and virtually. She and her husband live in Alaska, where they are not just jet-setting on their worldwide. Welcome to the show, Ral.
Hi, thanks, Holly. It's great to be here with you.
Happy to have you. Oh boy, all these tech. I love tech this week. It's been a journey, and so thanks for joining me. It's a Friday here when we're recording, and I'm glad. I'm ready for a weekend.
TGIF.
I guess so. Oh my gosh, it's just been one of those where it's a hit or miss whether tech's going to work, and I'm going to blame it on Mercury retrograde. We're still in all that mess. And
there you go.
It's hit or miss usually too, but it's okay. We go with the flow and we do what we can. That's just what we do. So, well, I have a few questions for you and all your expertise, and I'm just going to jump right in there, and we'll keep this conversational. And I hope our listeners, and I know our listeners actually will get some great nuggets out of this because you've done some great things. So thank you. All right. Does your business plan offer retreats does your business offer retreats now, or are you planning on doing them in the future?
I'm definitely planning on doing them in the future. Yes, I love the idea of retreats, and I love the idea of creating the synergy between the participants and the experts that are presenting to the retreat participants. And it's just a wonderful experience. And you get to see some really fabulous destinations.
That's so true. And I know, talking to you at a different time, you've attended a ton of retreats. What are your favorite? Tell us about those.
Oh gosh. Well, my most recent one was with Go Abundance Women, and we were in Sundance in Utah. And that was lovely. It was a beautiful resort. We had moose visiting us, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And it was just a wonderful opportunity to get away from the day-to-day, and kind of you're communing with nature, and you're also getting to know these amazing people from all over, and get to really explore some thoughts and ideas that we don't usually have time for in our day-to-day. And this group was particularly good at holding you accountable and saying, why are you doing that? You know, and what is it that you're really trying to accomplish? And, making you think, and, kind of like caught off guard, like, oh, well, and it's perfect. It actually prompted me to make a transformation in my business. So I think retreats are so valuable. And we had some fun things too. There were zip lines and horseback riding and, all kinds of things that just made it a very enjoyable weekend.
Yeah, my motto is, if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. So I always have to add some kind of fun and play in there. And it just takes you out of that learning mode and into the playing mode. And to me, the creativities flow so much better when you're mixing those together, don't you think?
Yeah, I do think so. And, it's kind of like, when you fill up a cup, once the cup gets full, everything just spills over. Yeah. So you can only absorb just so much, knowledge and data at one time. And then you've got to take a break and allow it to just seep in and integrate. So it's good to mix it up.
Yeah. And that can look different for everybody, and retreats look different for everybody. And that's why there's so many different kinds that you can choose from. So what would you recommend to somebody that's looking to do a retreat? What would you say top 2 or 3 things that you would suggest them to investigate before they sign up?
Well, first of all, it's the location, just like in real estate, location, location, location.
Yeah.
Pick a place that has the facilities that are very conducive to the way you want to conduct your retreat, and make it in a destination that's not too difficult for people to reach. Sometimes I've had retreats where it's like, oh God, the travel to get there was just really complicated and cumbersome and long drives or something. And just make it convenient, make it lovely.
Yeah.
Luxury is always a good thing to keep in mind for a retreat. Make everybody comfortable, and plan your agenda so that you allow that time, just like we were just saying about allow a balance between some off time, some fun time, and some let's dig deep into some topics time.
Yeah, I love that. So as a retreat leader, which are most of our listeners, aspiring to be, maybe they're seasoned, it doesn't matter, they're a retreat leader. And what would you suggest that they should make sure they include in their retreat?
Well, I think it's a wonderful thing to have opportunities for people to get to know each other better. So small group sessions, little breakout sessions. At the last retreat that I was at, they had what they called a wisdom circle, which was fabulous. It was just, a table of maybe 5 people, and you explore a topic. Each person gets a turn. And I think that kind of in-depth and more intimate environment is great. It's very conducive to really being thoughtful and bringing out more from what's in your head, and also gives you a chance to get to know some of the people better. So definitely that is something you should include.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Why do you think retreats are becoming such a powerful tool for founders who want to reset, refocus, or scale?
I think you said it in my introduction. If they're overworked and overwhelmed, they really need to take a breath occasionally. And a retreat is a great way to do that, and be able to step back and see their business from a different perspective, get that 10,000 foot view, which we often don't allow ourselves that opportunity, because when we're in the thick of it, we're busy every day, we're working, and you don't get to just step back and think about the big picture of your business and create some visions for the future. And I think that when you're around other people, as like at a retreat, you can get some other ideas from other people as to what's going on in their business, what's working for them. And you might find an idea that would be perfect to try in your business.
Yeah. And I know you haven't added retreats to your business plan yet, but you've attended so many, and that's why it's a little bit different perspective. And I think it's a great perspective for the listeners to hear how the other side sees it, not just from someone that's doing it all the time, but how you're at the back end and you've done a lot of other successful things with business. So let's talk about, I'm going to say most retreat hosts feel like they're just doing everything themselves. So when we talk about the overworked, overwhelmed, let's step that into a retreat leader's shoes for this minute, even though that's maybe not your expertise, but let's see what someone from the other side of it thinks. What would you say should, I'm going to say, be the first process that they should delegate?
I would, I would try to delegate as much as you can, because if you're leading the retreat, you want to be able to focus on the people, on your participants, and you want to be able to focus on the quality of the content that you're delivering. You don't want to be thinking about the logistics and when is the lunchtime setup going to be done, and is the projector ready? Do we have all the AV equipment? All those little details, you don't want to be messing with that in your brain. You want to be focused on the content and your participants, and be able to be in the moment. So definitely have a support team, whether you hire a firm to do the whole retreat for you, or whether the resort or wherever your destination is has a team in place there. But definitely delegate that as much as possible.
And I understand that's a challenge when you're new to budget that in. That's something that our company, Retreat R&R, does, is the concierge service, where we just come and handle everything for you. You just show up and do your genius and stay in that lane and let other people that can do the logistics behind the scenes, especially for people that don't have a team or they don't have a tribe of people. It's still a great idea to bring in some help there, and you just make sure you budget it in there, and then it's not a challenge, right?
Yeah, I'd say it's not a question. If you can't afford it, then maybe you shouldn't be doing the retreat.
Yeah.
or
Well, and you knew,
charge more, charge
right.
more for the retreat.
And that's a whole other conversation for another show. But,
Yeah,
that's the
because
thing.
I've also done conference planning.
Mhm.
In another phase of my
Yeah.
career, I was executive director, like for a small nonprofit group, and so I put on a weekend conference. But I was doing, everything, and I was handling all the logistics.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the one that was the key presenter.
Right.
So there's a difference there. You're doing
Absolutely.
the operations and the logistics, or you're doing the presenting and leading the retreat. It's really hard to do both.
Yeah. And I did live events in very similar steps to planning an event, whether it's something live that's a business type thing or a retreat. I mean, there are a lot of things that go hand in hand. They're not so different. Yeah, when I was doing my live events, I just had a team helping me, like, because events were and planning were an expertise of mine. And I was speaking, I would just have them assigned to do the back end. So it was
Mhm.
like, it was kind of overwhelming, but I felt like I had enough help. But if I had it to do over, I probably would put like one person, that's solely in charge of project managing that whole thing. And at a
Mhm.
retreat, just that concierge service can be amazing for you. And I know, maybe you shouldn't be doing retreats yet until you have a tribe and you have people, or maybe you're
Yeah.
wanting to upsell at your retreat. What a great way to upsell your coaching packages or things that you have that they can work with you on a long-term basis, but get them in your fold and decide if you like each other. First of all, retreat's a great way to decide if you want to continue to work and if they want to continue to drop big bucks for you. It's a great way to
Mhm.
make extra money at your retreat, but there's this strategy. I mean, it's a whole process behind it. So
Mhm.
taking those
Yeah.
steps is great.
Just one thing I would say is that perhaps retreat is almost too limiting a word, because some of the things that fall under that retreat header are things like a mastermind
Yeah.
or a conference or executive meetup, or any kind of group gathering for a specific person can be labeled a retreat.
Yes. I mean, I feel like they're way different apart, going to a luxury resort and having a retreat, or going to a hotel and calling it a retreat and going to classes all day. But yes, they are definitely labeled that. And if that's that model, it's
Yeah.
fine. Just be very clear with your guests. You're going to be
Right.
sitting in a conference room. You're staying in a hotel. You're not staying at a luxury
Right.
resort where you're having,
Yeah.
the fire pits available, and I mean, the different things. So I think you just need to,
Yeah, and as you're putting it together, you need to decide what you want to create
yes,
for
absolutely.
and you have to curate the experience. So what is the experience that you're trying to create? Is it an urban, let's just get down to business kind of thing?
Yeah.
Or is it, we're going to go to this lovely luxury resort and bask in, fun things and sunshine and, cocktails with little umbrellas in them and things like that.
Right. I know, agreed. So, from your perspective, what do you think separates a good retreat from a transformational retreat?
Well, it's the content that creates the transformation.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to create a transformational experience for the people, you really have to plan that and get some very, very expert people. So I've been to several Tony Robbins events talking about transformational. You could call them retreats.
Yeah.
It's more like, you sit yourself in a room for 14 hours a day and
A
suck
lot of
from a
rah rah.
fire hose. Yeah. So, but total transformation. But I think if you're creating a transformational event, you have to think about what is the overall atmosphere that is required in order to do that. And there's everything from lighting to music to comfort in the room.
Smells.
Is it tables and chairs, or do you have pillows on the floor? And just what is it that you're trying to create? What kind of transformation are you looking for? Is it a deeply personal transformation, or is it some kind of tremendous business aha that they're going to get that is the transformation? So there's so many different aspects to it.
So, being an attendee of a lot of retreats, what is a logistic that you feel like you could pinpoint, maybe, or maybe more than one, um, that were maybe big red flags to you? Like, have you been to one where something just stood up and the logistics were just a mess and you knew about it? I mean, sometimes things are happening behind the scenes and you as a attendee have no idea. But I'm just wondering,
Oh,
anything stand out for
yeah.
you?
I'm a big stickler for the food and beverage aspect of a retreat. And so many times it's just been so disappointing that whatever venue the retreat was being held at just didn't hold up their end in terms of either the timeliness of the service or the quality of the service. And that's just such an important part. So if you're the one planning the retreat, really vet that venue or have a company like yours do it and be very clear about what your expectations are in terms of the quality of the food, the timing of the food, how it's presented. Like there's nothing worse than, everybody can, takes a break for lunch and you got to stand in line for 20 minutes in a buffet line to get your meal. I mean, that's just crazy. The logistics have to be thought out so that can flow a lot more quickly and easily, and pay a lot of attention to that aspect of the retreat. It can kind of make or break it.
Yeah, it's true. And the thing is, a lot of times that's something you don't know until you know. You almost experience that, and then you're like, oh, what could I have done to fix that? That could be something that could be a clause in your contract with whoever's providing that if that is not, if it's name those things specifically, if the food's not ready on time, if, those things aren't prepared, that whatever happens, have it figured out in the contract so that everybody's aware of the consequence, just like a little kid, if you don't do your thing, there's a consequence for that. That's the challenge, is them not having a consequence, because it's going to keep happening. Right.
Yeah. And what do you do if the food is just like inedible,
And
that can just ruin the experience for people. It's like,
and that's why retreat leaders should always have been to the venue in person before you have something there, eat the food, know what's happening. And the other challenge I think too is when companies are selling, and because I am a real estate broker and one of our divisions in our company is buying and selling luxury retreat properties, it's like, what if you've booked it in a year and it sells? And now what you had and saw and felt and tasted is now by another owner. I mean, that's a challenge in itself. Right there.
Yeah. Oh, that would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe you need to plan another visit to the venue a month ahead of time.
Well, and by then you've usually paid in full. So those are also challenges. I mean, that's where I'm just saying they're going to give you a contract and you're just going to sign it. Those are things that you can say, well, in the event that the venue is to sell while I'm under contract, I reserve the right to cancel based on whatever, 1, 2, 3.
And of course, but you also know that you can't find another venue.
No, that's a huge challenge
with short notice. No. So you're really kind of stuck. Yeah. So, I mean, pay attention to the contracts. I mean, that's a big point right there. Read through those contracts and make sure that you've got some clauses. And as you just said, maybe there's some penalty clauses for the venue if they can't deliver what it is that you've paid for.
Right. Yeah. And so, that becomes the whole issues all over the place. All right, let's jump over to about you and your husband. So you prioritize lifestyle and travel, and you like to travel, like you said. How does global travel shape the way that you review or you view retreat destinations when you've been around? Has that changed, like where you maybe would want to go on a retreat by that?
Well, sure. Well, some of the places that we've gone to, conferences or retreats is like, ooh, this is a really cool place. I wouldn't have been here if it weren't for this event. And then we say, oh, let's come back here sometime where we can just enjoy it ourselves. But we love traveling all over the world. We love luxury travel, and we're a little spoiled. And so 5-star resorts and 5-star destinations are certainly, high on the list for us. Yeah. And we also love cruising. So here's another thing to think about when you're planning a retreat, is that your retreat could be on a cruise. There are some cruises that are only 3 or 4 days long, and, a lot of cruises are a week or 10 days. But, think about that and as a different kind of retreat experience.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great idea. Do you and your husband attend retreats together, or have you?
Yes, both separately and together.
Awesome. Oh, that's fun. It's so good for growth. That's nice that he's willing to do that as well. All right. So if a retreat host, and this is speaking just from your background of doing events and things, if they could only focus on one thing to elevate that experience, what would it be?
It's hard to say. I think everything that we've talked about is pretty, primary in terms of importance. I mean, your content, who it is that's going to be presenting or delivering the content to your people, the comfort of the venue, opportunities for leisure activities. Is there a spa? Are there tennis courts? Is there golf?
Yeah.
What else is available to them? So it is a very well-rounded experience. Your food and beverage service, all of that it's all important. And any one of those things, if it's not done right, can mess you up.
Mm-hmm. So true. Okay, we're going to talk about masterminds because I know that's your expertise too. What does that look like for you in creating? So you want to create a mastermind community, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. Okay. I'm in the launch stage right now, just putting all the pieces together.
Yeah.
But it's a community of entrepreneurs who need some assistance getting out of that day to day. And they're really up to their eyeballs in all the details of running their business. They're the operator, not the owner. And my job is to transform them into being the owner. And I have 6 principles that I teach. And so the mastermind is a way for us all to convene together, get the knowledge and, some of the content from me, but also share with each other. Because the real definition of mastermind is a joining of several minds.
Yes.
And you create a lot of synergy there. So the mastermind will be content from me and from other presenters as well, and also giving them an opportunity to share their own experiences with each other and build on that synergy so that they can get the advantage of that community.
What's the ideal mastermind number for you?
Oh, it depends on the way you want to set it up. And for this particular mastermind, I'm going for large numbers of people, and then there's ways to organize that and facilitate that so that it doesn't feel like a massive experience.
Yeah.
So I think, using breakout rooms and having pods and so forth can bring the intimacy into even a large group experience.
Right. Well, and Tony Robbins has done a great job putting, tens and thousands of people in a room, and
exactly.
People feel that energy. It's like he's done a great job keeping that all in a great container.
Yeah, and his events are a great example of it's a big mastermind, but it's huge. Like 11,000 people, maybe 10,000 in person, and another 6,000 on Zoom, all in the same at the same time. And yet he has a way of making it intimate and very transformational and personal, and he does an excellent job.
I like his more when especially since COVID, when he started doing them more virtual. But I liked when he really brought in some other experts as well, so that it wasn't just all about him. I mean, he's great, but I enjoyed seeing a little bit of variety personally.
He usually does have quite a few other speakers, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
they have to be
world class.
Totally. Yeah.
He does a great job with how it's all put together. I will say some of the venues that they use have horrible food service.
Yeah. So I can't even feed at once. I can't even imagine how you keep the quality with that many people. But that's a whole nother thing. But is there one last thought you'd like to leave with our listeners?
I think whether you're planning to do a retreat, and put one on yourself, or whether you're planning to attend one, I just do think that retreats are here to stay. Yeah. It's a trend, I believe. And I don't think it's going away. So, there's so many ways that you can conduct a retreat. Be creative. Think of some new ways. Think outside the box, and do take advantage of the retreats that are offered to you, and figure out ways to deliver just outstanding retreats yourself.
I love that. So be creative. That's the end result here of y'all.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, thanks so much, Ral, for being a guest today. Appreciate having you on the show, and hopefully you got some good nuggets that you can put into your retreat business and thoughts and planning. Love it. We're coming up to a new year, so we need to all get busy thinking of what does that look like for next year in the retreat business. Join us next week, and we will see you again. Appreciate it. Bye for now.
Thanks, Holly.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of All Things Retreat. We hope you're leaving with new ideas, fresh inspiration, and the motivation to take your retreats to the next level. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It helps us grow and reach more retreat leaders like you. And if you have any questions, topics you'd like us to cover, or just want to say hello, send us an email at info@weretreatrnr.com. Follow us on social media to stay connected and catch all the latest updates. Until next time, remember, Great retreats start with great intentions. Let's make them extraordinary, one step at a time. Thinking about hosting a retreat? Before you dive in, let's make sure you're really ready. Grab your free Are You Retreat Ready checklist and find out if you've got everything in place from your purpose and pricing to your audience and agenda. Don't guess. Get clear. This quick checklist will show you exactly where you stand and what you need to make your retreat a success. Click the link below in the show notes to grab your gift and take the first step toward hosting with confidence.